Well, hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ripplin's Rapid Fire episode 63, thanks to BSG103079, almost screwed that up. Crystal, forgot your Twitter handle, my apologies, at Jeremy8911 on Twitter, and anyone else that suggested show topics for the 6-topic deep edition of Rapid Fire. Thank you guys also for getting me to over 95,000 views, total views, as of the recording of this video, and I'm recording this just a few days before Money in the Bank, so who knows if that show ends up turning out to be shit. Maybe that review will do well. I'm actually hoping to hit 100,000 by SummerSlam, so we'll see. But thank you guys very, very much for the support. I really do appreciate it. And I'm also going to try to make these rapid fires a little more interactive. If I can't come up with topics in particular, I will throw a tweet out to you all and say, hey, what are some topics you want to see me talk about? I'm kind of thinking about doing one of these shows. And maybe getting a few topics, and if they're relevant and ones that I enjoy talking about, I'll 100% do it. I will also be bringing back the questions from these shows, maybe a little bit later in the summer, possibly sometime after Money in the Bank, maybe sometime more in July once we get closer to SummerSlam. We shall see. But without further ado, I'm hoping that this show will be about 20 to 25. It might go 30, so bear with me, because some of these topics are can be ones that might be a little in depth. Here we go. First of 6 topics, fans that are clamoring for Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks to go to WWE. Let me clarify. If you're a fan and you just want your favorites to succeed, and your favorites happen to be Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and you just feel that even though you love them in New Japan, Ring of Honor, that you want to see them succeed in WWE because you feel they deserve to be on the biggest stage, and you feel that WWE is the biggest stage, which money-wise, don't get me wrong, it is. Plenty of talents earn a shit ton of money, and yes, with the WrestleManias and other pay-per-views and stuff like that, they do have some big shows. So is New Japan, but anyway. Here's why I have a bit of an issue with some of the fans that say, oh, well, everybody should go to WWE. Because that's the mindset that got WCW in trouble in the 90s. And I'm going to do an unpopular opinion on this, where WWE's product WWE is essentially doing what WCW did in the mid to late 90s, taking everybody that they possibly can from Vince and maybe even Heyman, sign everybody just so nobody else can have them, but not even using them. Think about all the underutilized talents in WWE, and you want the Young Bucks and Omega to go there. Now, they would do well in NXT. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that Triple H, Regal, and various others that are overseeing the whole thing would not use the Bucks and Omega well. The thing is, things would have to change with the Bucks. They wouldn't be able to call out their spots and that kind of stuff like they do in Japan and Ring of Honor. And nothing wrong with that. That works. I'm not the biggest Young Bucks fan. I want to say that right now. I never will be the biggest Young Bucks fan. Though I will say that they have delivered some pretty good matches this year. And even some really stellar performances. Their match against Golden Lovers, Strong Style Evolved in particular, is on my favorite matches of the year list. It was a blow-away match. Really good emotion, really good storytelling, and some good moves too. And Okada basically saving one of the Bucks from getting hurt. I think it was Matt. And I'm going to focus on the Bucks really quick. They are the current never openweight tag champions, 6-man tag champs, along with Marty Scurll, the villain. And they are the current IWGP heavyweight tag team champions. And their contracts are coming up here in a few months. I want to say in about 4 months, so or maybe even 6 months, because I think it's actually closer to December that their contracts are up, but I'm not really sure. And that's a Ring of Honor contract, but of course Ring of Honor and New Japan has a partnership. There's no reason for the Bucks to go there unless their girlfriends sign off on it, because that was one of the reasons they didn't go before. The Bucks are making a shit ton of money on merch. They're able to dictate, not necessarily dictate their own schedule, but they have a way to, they can say, hey, we would like to work with these guys if possible. They can kind of dictate who they want to work with and have some fun and deliver some really blow-away matches and not have as rough of a schedule. They're able to see their families a little more often. I'm sure that they're still on the road plenty. I mean, Ring of Honor and New Japan do have consistent schedules and sometimes can be a little bit busy, but they also have times where they're off, especially in New Japan. The Bucks don't... One of them is 33. I think that's Matt. And I think Nick is 28, or maybe it's reversed. I don't exactly remember, but I know one's 33 and I know one's 28. If they feel that this is their last chance to get a big payday, get a big massive payday, and they want to go there for a couple of years, okay, whatever. Hey, it's their life, their career. They can make a shit ton more money on merch outside WWE and make comparable money between New Japan and Ring of Honor, where they wouldn't have to go to, I mean, what are they going to go do in WWE? Go to NXT, be NXT Tag Champions, maybe deliver some good to great matches, this kind of stuff, and then go to the main roster and work 5 to 7 minute matches with the Fashion Police and maybe Gallows and Anderson and get destroyed by AOP because they're smaller guys and stuff like that. You really want that to happen to the Bucks? If you're fans of them, you really want that to happen? Because I'm sorry, that's what would happen. Look at all the marginalized talent that they have there. And no, not everything is a bed of nails or a complete pile of bullshit in WWE. But they have plenty of people that right now could go to Ring of Honor, New Japan, make some good money, and flourish creatively there. Especially with how they wrestle. Cesaro and Rusev are just two I'm going to mention. Gallows and Anderson have been horribly marginalized since coming from New Japan. I mean, sorry, they have. I mean, I'm sure they're getting paid well. They really, really are, and I apologize if I'm doing this, by the way. Have some bad allergies going on. But you really want the Bucks to go there and be marginalized like Gallows and Anderson. And Gallows and Anderson are two big guys, especially Gallows. And the biggest match that they've been involved in like the past year was that 4-team ladder match at WrestleMania 33. Other than that, they've been barely used. I forget they're part of the damn roster sometimes. Now, I get it. WWE, with as much TV time as they have, can only put everybody on TV as much as possible. Not everybody can be on top all the time. I'm not trying to imply that. But they have got to purge some talent. And I'm not wishing for anybody to lose their job, but they got to purge some talent before they want to bring anybody else in. Because now they're so damn bloated that they aren't able to use everybody to the best of their abilities. They aren't even able to use more than 30% of the people to the best of their abilities. Some people are floundering there. I don't like the Young Bucks, even though I put over some of their matches. I don't want the Bucks to go there because they're just going to be marginalized. Again, if you're fans of them and you want to see them go there, I'm not going to fault you. But if you just want it because you want everybody in WWE, that's a bit selfish. And now we go to Kenny Omega, who is the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, beat Okada at New Japan Dominion in Osaka. Osaka Joe Hall, to be specific. And by the way, I did a review of that. Check it out, by the way. It's my most viewed New Japan review, like over 350 views. And I really do want to appreciate, I really am appreciative and want to thank everybody who has enjoyed my New Japan reviews. So glad I finally decided to start watching that live and reviewing it, because it has been a breath of fresh air. Great for my channel, but also great for my sanity, because sometimes the weekly WWE product has not been great. But let's go back to Omega. He just delivered potentially the match of the year with Okada. Potentially. You make the argument for a couple matches, maybe in NXT and this kind of stuff. But I'm not going to deny and I'm not Omega's biggest fan. In this sense. I don't care. His facial expressions sometimes are too goofy for me. But, and that's my opinion. But it works for him. And his ability, the way he hit, constant V-triggers, that kind of stuff. It was a lot of V-triggers in that match. But works for him. He is a top-tier performer. There's a reason why they call him the best bout machine. Because he consistently, and by the way, this is where all my notes are, why you might see a white piece of paper pop up. He is consistently delivering great performance after great performance after great performance. He's delivering some great performances just this year alone. His matches with Okada even last year were great. Even the one in the I believe it was the G1 Climax tournament. Might have been a G1 special, but I remember he beat Okada it was like I think it was just under 30 minutes or something like that. And that was the one victory he got over Okada, but the title wasn't on the line. But they had the match at Wrestle Kingdom 11, which was great, and then Dominion in Osaka last year, there was the draw, and then that kind of stuff. But the whole point is he delivers some great matches. His reuniting with Kota Ibushi has reinvigorated Omega. It makes him feel even a little fresher. Not that he felt stale before, but after his match with Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom 12, which was great, by the way. Then the match he had with Jay White where he lost the U.S. title. Reuniting with Ibushi has invigorated him, and now they have a way where they can set off on a new path, and they can have a where Ibushi will screw over Omega. That's what's going to happen. They're going to go all the way to Wrestle Kingdom 13 before this happens. And Ibushi's going to face Omega. And then Ibushi is going to cheat to win. And going to be like, you screwed me out of the title against AJ Styles a few years ago, and now I screwed you out of the title by beating you. I think it'd be good storytelling. But anyway, that's a little fancy book, and I'm not going to get into that here, or too much into that. Omega is 34 years old. And I'm not being ageist. I'm not saying that people that, you know, get near 40 can't wrestle anymore. Look at AJ Styles, a guy still wrestling at a top level. And various others in Japan and Ring of Honor. Christopher Daniels is still delivering some great performances, and he's in his mid-40s. And Daniels is one of the unsung heroes in wrestling, somebody that is tremendous. Kazarian as well. I'm really glad Kazarian seems to be okay after that scary bump at Strong Style Evolved, where it looked like he might have jacked his knee really bad. There are people that perform well into their 40s. But my question is why would you want Omega to go there? It's pretty much the same with the Young Bucks. Why would you want him to go there? Go there and maybe have some great matches in NXT, be the NXT champion, which, sorry, ain't on the same level as the IWGP title. Is many cool people and great talents that have held the NXT title. It's two different companies, but it's my opinion. After beating Okada the way he did and telling that great story of like over, I believe, about 18 months, something like that, 17, 18 months, why would he want to go to NXT and WWE? He wouldn't be used that well on the main roster. So, I mean, yeah, you could get matches with him and AJ if he were to go next year, because I don't think AJ is going to wrestle much past 2020, much past 2020 or 2021. That's just my opinion. I mean, even though AJ's still a top-tier performer, I think he's going to want to retire at some point. I think he's going to be 41 this year. He might wrestle till he's 44. Who knows? But yeah, you could get matches like Omega and Styles in the WWE ring. You could get Omega versus Reigns. You could get Omega versus Cena if Cena's still wrestling. You could get Omega versus Rollins. You could get a few dream matches. Is it worth it to leave Japan to just do that? No. I don't think it is. But it's all about quality of life and money. If they throw a shit ton of money at him and he wants to go, he can go. However, he did say in a promo, and of course, you know, plans change, as Meltzer would say, because that's what he says to cover his ass when he gets something wrong, which sometimes happens. But then again, we all get things wrong because we're all wrestling fans. Here's my one shot at Meltzer per show. Nothing against Meltzer. He just, and actually I'm going to take a bit of a shot at him here a little bit later. But with Omega, I just can't see how the Bucks and Omega outside of NXT would be used that well. I think they're better off staying where they're at. It's their careers, it's their lives. If they want to go, they can go. But fans need to stop being selfish and saying everybody needs to go to WWE. No. Everybody needs to go where they're happy. Look at where Cody's at. Cody, Ring of Honor, New Japan, you know, back and forth, that kind of stuff. He's doing way better than he ever did in WWE. Sorry, I mean, like, really, besides the dashing Cody Rhodes thing and the face mask one, which I think they really dropped the bottle on and the ball on. Also, dropping the bottle, that's interesting. We're too drunk. We're going to drop the bottle. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. There are people that are flourishing outside of WWE that weren't being used that well in NXT. Juice Robinson. He was floundering as CJ Parker. And he's doing so well now. Come on, guys. Let's be realistic. But that's basically my discussions on that. I don't want them to go to WWE. If they go, they go. Cool. I just don't want them to go. Now, fans are saying that New Japan should have women's wrestlers on their shows. And this is where Meltzer, I think, had said at some point that like the NBA doesn't let women play in the odd-numbered quarters or something like that. And there were people that were hammering Meltzer about that. I mean, it probably wasn't the smartest thing that he said. I mean, at least this week. But he said way dumber shit. As far as New Japan having a women's division or having women's wrestlers on there, there are other women's promotions, women's exclusive promotions in Japan. Stardom, and there are a couple others, and forgive me if I don't know, because I don't know all about the promotions in Japan. But I know Stardom does, and I've seen a little bit of Stardom. I believe Stardom's in Japan, correct me if I'm wrong. But they got other ones. I don't remember them, and my apologies. You can leave in the comments what other promotions there are, because I think there's one a little bit bigger than Stardom that people have talked about. I just can't recall the name. But I'm not saying that New Japan having a women's division is a bad idea. Where would you fit it in their current product, though? I want to take a look at how their shows are structured. Where would you put it? Do you really want them to co-brand one of these women's promotions and do something like that, because that's the only way they could do it. They have some women as valets and stuff like that. Now, people can call it sexist. I'm not in here to get into that discussion. I think New Japan is fine as it is. Now, will they have to add women if they want to expand into the U.S.? Probably. If they want to co-brand with a female promotion that's based out of Japan, or maybe even co-brand with Shimmer or something like that. And, you know, bring those two together if they ever want to do more shows in the U.S. That might be an idea. Get Shimmer more exposure. It would show New Japan fans, hey, we're going to bring some women in. As it stands right now, I don't know if they should really bring in women's wrestling into the New Japan product. But I would like to, you know, defer this to everybody in the comments. Let me know if you wanted to see women's wrestling in New Japan, how would you do it? Would you do it with one of the suggestions I had, you know, co-brand with either a Japanese promotion or maybe even an American promotion and bring women over and see how it works? Because women's wrestling in Japan can work. It can absolutely work. There are some tremendous, 100% tremendous female talents. Not just that have gone to WWE, but that are in Japan. Like ones that are currently going to WWE. Like Io Shirai. She's just great. There's Kairi Sane, who's Kairi Hojo. Asuka, who was Kana. And there are plenty of others, I'm sure. I can't, again, recall the names right now, and I'm not trying to sound misinformed, but it's a lot to memorize. But I want to know, how would you do that? Do you think the New Japan should incorporate women's wrestling? I would like actually to know that. Right now, I don't think they need to. If they want to expand into the U.S., they should. It would certainly show a more global presence and more inclusion in this kind of stuff. But they shouldn't force it. They should gradually bring it in. Because otherwise, it just seems like, hey, look, we're just going to bring all these women. Look at all these women. If they build it right, and that's what New Japan has done well, is build it right. Build things right, more often than not, then yeah, a women's division can absolutely work. I think they're going to have to work with either Stardom or one of the other promotions, though. I don't know if because right now the only women that they really have that are featured on their programs are Miho Abe, one of the whatever women are with Yujiro Takahashi, Tokyo Pimp. You have Brandy that comes over there occasionally with Cody. And Brandy wrestles. She's not great, but she tries. And and I really hope she does recover from her broken, I think she got some kind of broken arm or something like that. I think she was in a match recently, but I don't know how well she was doing. But hopefully she is recovered from that. And there are other women that they've used and stuff like that, but that's really the ones I can just think of right now. So yeah, incorporating women's wrestling into New Japan isn't a bad idea, but I think they're going to have to co-brand. So I want to know in the comments what you guys think. Please let me know, because right now I don't think New Japan needs it. For a U.S. expansion, I believe they need it. That's my opinion. Right now, I don't believe they need it. We'll find out, though. I want to know what you guys have to say. And now there are people... I'm going to go to the people that are saying that Brock Lesnar's Universal title reign and Okada's IWGP heavyweight title reign are the same because of the number of days and the number of defenses. You guys are fucking idiots. I'm just going to say that right now. You guys are fucking idiots. Here's why. Now, it's two different companies. They're only paying Brock to show up. And Brock, I'm not even going to fault Brock. If they offered me that much money to work that few dates and have a championship and this kind of stuff, yeah, I'd fucking do it too. For that much money, absolutely. So I'm not going to fault Brock here. He's getting a big payday. It's probably going to be one of the last big paydays he gets, because even when he goes to UFC, sorry, the guy's in his, I think he's, 41? He's 40, 41, 42? You really think that guy's got that much left before he hangs it up, like in the Octagon and in wrestling? Probably wants to go and enjoy his millions on wherever he is. I think he's in Canada or something like that. But Brock, 430... Let's see, 430. I think we're up to almost 440 days right now as of this recording, and 10 title defenses. And yeah, it's different in the CM Punk title reign and this kind of stuff. Yeah, I ain't talking about that. Okada had 720 days and 13 title defenses. But here's the difference. Name one Brock Lesnar match that he had with the entire time he's been Universal Champion that has been above 3 stars. And the build for them has been, the build for the one... well, actually, let's see. The SummerSlam 4-way actually was probably 4 stars, because it was a pretty good match. But there were also other guys involved and stuff like that. It wasn't one-on-one. The match with Samoa Joe, even though I had a great build, was shit. And it turned out to be shit. None of his matches and his performances have really been all that good. Sorry, they just haven't been. With Okada, and look, it's different. It's different with how it's booked. But Okada's been on almost every show that they've had, at least in tag matches, working with potential challengers, this kind of stuff, and working. Yes, 13 title defenses in nearly 2 years may not seem like much, but look at the match quality. Cody, Evil, Kenny, Suzuki, Sabre Jr., Naito, Sonata, Tanahashi. There are a few others I forgot. My apologies. I think he faced Evil at one point. I might have mentioned Evil. The whole point is Okada's title defenses actually mean something. It elevates the championship. I'm not knocking Brock. WWE hasn't done a good job elevating the Universal title. The Universal title is meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. Whether that's where you want to blame Brock or whatever, that's your call. But sorry, I'll take Okada's reign of 700 plus days, 13 title defenses with meaningful title defenses and showing up every night, like, or, you know, on every show he's booked on, to be part of, just to participate in tag matches and this kind of stuff and have some really good quality matches and some stellar title defenses. I'll take his title reign over Brock's any goddamn day. So no, you want to compare the optics of it? Okay, I mean, I guess, but that's pretty damn stupid. It just to me it shows, and this is just my opinion, it shows a WWE bias, and I have a WWE bias sometimes. But I can appreciate what New Japan does. And New Japan, by the way, even though I sing their praises, is not perfect. Especially with their never openweight title since they gave it to Michael Elgin. Fucking creep that he is. And yeah, I'm going to say that. I would say that to his goddamn face, except I would be afraid he'd snap me in two. Elgin's a goddamn creep. There is no comparing the Brock Okada title reigns. None. You compare the optics all you damn well want. Okada's is better. It's not even close to the same. It's not. When title reigns actually mean something, you can have fewer defenses. You can. And they can actually mean something. Brock's, sorry, you take out that Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, I can't name, one match he had that was above 3 stars. Even the match with AJ, I didn't necessarily care for. Even though Brock gave more to AJ and sold more for AJ than I ever thought he would. But yeah, that's what I gotta say. Okada's title reign, a lot more meaningful than Brock's title reign, and they aren't the same. My opinion. You want to have a problem with it? Well, you want to have a problem with it? That's what I gotta say. I hope the camera caught that. Now we move on to petty people. Petty arguments between the sheep, the Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns sheep. Clarifying here that if you like both or either of them, if you hate Daniel Bryan and love Roman Reigns, or if you hate Roman Reigns and love Daniel Bryan, get some help. Especially if it goes beyond beyond hating the wrestling character. If you hate the wrestling character, if you just don't care for the wrestling character, what's presented on TV, okay, cool, that's fine. There are some people that actually hate the person. There are people that say, "Oh, Daniel Bryan threw shade at Roman Reigns." No, if you actually listen to what Daniel Bryan said, and I'm just gonna tell people to go figure out what Daniel Bryan said about the 2015 Rumble and Roman Reigns winning. Spoiler alert, by the way, for anybody with a brain, it wasn't going to work, and it wasn't Roman Reigns' fault. It was how everything was booked. But the petty arguments, oh, Daniel Bryan, he had to go away for a couple years. Well, I don't think he would have gone away if he didn't want to. I was there when he had to retire. I was at the goddamn show. And I know that he didn't want to retire. Now, I'm glad he did, because having seizures and stuff like that is no goddamn joke. And all those concussions and stuff like that. He's back, and it's great. I still think he's going to leave. I think he's one of the people that will leave and go to New Japan. He hasn't signed a deal as of yet, unless right now, while I'm recording this, he has suddenly signed a deal. I don't think he should. I think he should leave. Or sign short-term deals. And shout out to New Patriot 77 without clause. But the arguments between people where you have to like one or the other, no, you don't. You actually can like both. It's like with WWE New Japan, you can like both. With various wrestlers, look, it's okay. Example. Let's go back to Shawn and Brett. Let's go back that far. I like both, even though I like Brett more because Brett, even though there were times he wasn't as willing to maybe job to somebody, he was better than Shawn. But Shawn's cleaned up his life since then. But you could like both. Hogan and Savage. Yeah, I liked both. I like Savage a hell of a lot more now because Savage is more willing to do business. Even with how crazy he was in relationships. But here's the deal, guys. Daniel, if you don't care for Daniel Bryan, fine. Fine. If you don't care for Roman Reigns, fine. But let's not jump into other fans' mentions and everything and get all upset. No, you need to like this or whatever. Oh, it's the big dog. Or, yes, and all that. You can like both. You can like one or the other. That doesn't mean that you have to fall in line. You do not have to, however, attack other fans. Now, if these other fans are wishing injury or death on your favorite wrestler, then by all fucking means, get on them. Because that's bullshit. Even I try not to go that far. And I mean, I get fired up about shit. I mean, well, wishing death on any wrestler is ridiculous. If you don't want them on TV, that's one thing. But, because I've wished that about a few. It's like, oh, God, if they're off TV, that would be such a shame. And I don't mean Daniel Bryan or Reigns. I mean just people I don't like. Because I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns, but that's mainly the character. I don't hate the man himself. But if you have a problem with Daniel Bryan coming back to the ring, why? He's getting to live his dream. He's getting to have fun. They finally cleared him because they realized, fuck, he's probably going to go to New Japan. And he's probably still going to go to New Japan, and he should go there. But Roman Reigns, here's one thing people need to realize about Roman Reigns. He ain't the guy. But that's my opinion. If you see him as a guy, that's fine. The guy's been booked as shit, though. But let's stop with the petty arguing, and let's realize that, hey, let's enjoy wrestling. Again, unless somebody's wishing injury or death on your particular favorite, then by all means attack them. But otherwise, if they're just saying, hey, I don't like this person or whatever, and they're just tweeting it out but not even tagging the wrestlers in it, then whatever. Let's fucking deal with it and realize that we're all wrestling fans here. Let's stop with the pettiness because there's way more important things to worry about than that. Now, this is a shout out to Crystal who suggested this, but people that praised Punk for getting back into a UFC octagon and getting his ass beat, but then they slam Rosa Mendez, who wants to work the Indies and wants to improve and return to WWE. I mean, that's a generalization of what she said. I was personally never a fan of Rosa Mendez. I thought she was fine as a valet. She never needed to be a wrestler. She was also never really trained to be a wrestler. If she wants to do this and have her kid see her wrestle, great. I believe she has at least one kid. She might have two. I know she has at least one. If she wants her kid, I think her daughter, to see her wrestle, great. If Rosa wants to improve and do some things on the Indies, great. Why the fuck would WWE want to bring her back? I mean, she's 30. I mean, not to be ageist, but she's 38 years old. She wasn't that good in the ring anyway. Bring her back as a valet? Okay, bring her back as a valet. Don't bring her back as a wrestler. That's why Cameron didn't work out, because Cameron wasn't a very good wrestler. I mean, she tried, but she just wasn't very good. Now she's doing better out wherever she is now. I don't know if she's doing acting or modeling or whatever, and I don't really care because she's better suited for that than she was for wrestling. That's my opinion. Sorry, but I don't care if you improved or not. If you try to pin somebody while they're face down instead of on their back, right there you should not be allowed to be in a wrestling ring. Yeah, she improved and that kind of stuff, whatever. But back to Rosa Mendez. She should not have to feel she has anything to prove. But if she wants to do it for her daughter or do it for herself and her own well-being, great. I just don't see why WWE should bring her back. Brandon, BSG103079. I'm going to be brief here about the topic because I've gone on really, really long. But the current booking of the women, how they put them in tag teams, constantly put them in tag teams and this kind of stuff, and they don't seem to have some very good feuds going on with the women. It is rather baffling given how talented a lot of the women are in NXT, WWE, main roster, Raw, SmackDown, that kind of stuff. Because there's some really, really good talents. And then there's some women that don't belong in the ring. Sorry, there's, like, I give them credit for trying, but Dana Brooke, Lana, and Carmella, I might actually throw Carmella off that because Carmella at least is trying. I'm not saying Lana isn't. I'm not saying Dana Brooke isn't. It's not going to happen with Lana. And that's just my opinion. Maybe she'll surprise me in Money in the Bank. Maybe I'll be eating my words here a bit later. But they do throw in a lot of random tag matches. Like they had a 10-woman tag match on SmackDown recently. I mean, on the episode of SmackDown just a couple days ago. That's lazy booking right there. Now, yeah, it's a way to feature all these women, and they feature the Iconics, which, oh, there they are all of a sudden. I mean, and that's good because they're a good act and actually should be featured more. Mandy, I don't really think so because I don't like Mandy. I just don't. I don't think she's that good. Maybe she could change my mind, and maybe pigs will fly. But there are plenty of women that do deserve a whole lot better. Now, again, not everybody can be on top all the damn time, but doing all this stuff with these random tag matches or these throwaway 3-way matches or 6-woman tag matches that serve no purpose for all the talent that the women have. I mean, yeah, they've done the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber. They had a couple really good matches. Well, they had some good matches with the women at Mania. In particular, Charlotte and Asuka is a Match of the Year candidate. In particular, because Asuka's streak got broken. But by and large, they've been booking the women like shit. And sorry, in NXT, Shayna is a really, really boring NXT Women's Champion. And as of now, at least for a couple days, unless Nikki Cross happens to beat her at TakeOver Chicago, which I'd be really surprised by. Yeah, the women in NXT haven't been booked all that good. I mean, you know, Lacey Evans is good, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, Vanessa Bourne, Bianca Belair is a huge star in the making. The only way that that doesn't work is if she either gets in her own way or if creative fucks her. And hopefully they don't because they should see the talent in her. But yeah, this is the condensed version of how I feel about the current women's division. They really need to do a lot better. So anyway, that's what I gotta say. What do you guys say about the topics I talked about? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. Rapid Fire episode 63. I will see you soon.